What's up, Just Smell So Good Nation? Welcome to another edition of Just Smell So Good Nation. And I'm here to introduce you to the flea market world. Years ago, I was into the flea market, and that's how I started out my very first business in the flea market. What made me go towards the flea market is that my job, what I was working at that time, started cutting the hours very, very bad. In fact, I didn't understand why they was cutting everyone out because they said it wasn't enough. It was slow. It wasn't enough money going around, and so much more. So my first introductions to the business of the flea market came from selling some stuff that I had that I wasn't using in the flea market. So I remember the first day I went to, I think this lady named Alice. It was at the Ramona Flea Market. I went and signed up for a table, and based on table sizes and location, that's how much you get charged for selling at the flea market. So the table cost me $17, and that was, I think that was in 1995. And that's probably about 24 years ago because I've been in business for about a little bit over than that, about 20 years. So that's been about, was that sitting at the table, $17 trying to sell my product, and people just walk right past you. Some people look at your table, and other vendors look at your table as well. That's when I learned the lesson that nobody really cares at the flea market. One day you might see your friend next to you talking and chatting, and the next moment that friend is gone. No more friend. And that's how the flea market was, back then. But at that time, I paid $17 for the table, probably about $5 for food and drink, and another $10 for gas, for transportation. Altogether, we looked at about close to over $31. All right, at the end of the day, when I worked 7.5 hours, I got 7.5 hours, I made a total of $80. Subtract $30 because most of the stuff I owned was free, and I made 50 bucks. That was pretty good. I thought, man, I'm in business. I made some money. The thing, with that said, is about replenishing the product. You got to replenish, buy more inventory, or find more inventory on trash piles. You got to be like a real scavenger hunter. And at that time, I didn't know too much about scavenger hunter. Yes, indeed, one of my friends who owned a consignment shop at that time, but I still wasn't into the sales that game like I am today. And like I tell some of you, I get your credit right in business so you can grow your business. But also you got to know how to sell your business. So let me get my glasses. It's hard to see. Okay, I'm clear. So it was kind of hard to understand the concept of growing a business. So what happened next? I took a break. I asked the person next to me to wash my table. So I took a little stroll down the flea market. And I noticed certain areas have more traffic than others. Like at Ramona Flea Market, when you enter the gates, most people are not going to buy from you at all unless you holler at them and try to get their attention to buy from you. That's the only way they're going to buy from you. or unless they're looking for you, or you're a vendor that's been there for a while. So they wasn't paying no attention to me at that time. So I know y'all want to know the fragrance of today. So let's get to that. All right, I was looking at this book here, and I want to get to this as fast as possible. I was looking at this book, Cheeky book, and in this book, and I done had this fragrance before, it's the amazing Bleu de Chanel. Bleu de Chanel. Now, I was in Paris when Bleu de Chanel came out in 2010, and that fragrance blew my mind. I knew I had to have it. I know I had to introduce it to my little state of Florida to make an impact to win over clients and to get brand my name. It just smells so good. So I knew I had to get into the game real quick. So this fragrance is very clean, very masculine. It's got bergamot. It has some oud, a little bit of this little Swedish note. It's very got straight clarity. When you wear it, it's somewhat like a cool water, but it's not cool water. And it's got a very flavorful scent that's lingering. All you need to do is touch your pulse points on Bleu de Chanel, put it on your neck, somewhere your hair, if you got a fragrance oil, and let it rip. Because Bleu Chanel would do, it's a very masculine scent. But with that said, in this magazine, they're talking about masculinity. If you ever get this book at GQ, it's the 2019 edition, starring Pharrell on it. They're talking about the new masculinity. I feel like masculinity is being challenged by a lot of us, and some of you know that you've been challenged. So that's why I put mostly women on my thumbnails. So I knew if I put that on my thumbnails, men would come, take a picture, take a look, what I have to say to help them, and plus they are looking for women also. They gravitate to women. So their masculinity is not being challenged. So let's get back to the flea market again. So I walked around the flea market and I ran into this gentleman. His name was Curtis. But before that, a friend of mine named Bilal introduced me to the oil game. And he used to wear a fragrance called the Egyptian Musk. Everyone knows about Egyptian Musk. I sell a bunch of Egyptian Musk. If you want some Egyptian musk, you can go to justsmellsogood.com and buy some Egyptian musk, incense, lotion, body mist, whatever you want. We can sell it to you. And that Egyptian musk was bamming. And he used to smell so good. And women used to gravitate to Bella. Because Bella used to be one of my managers when I was a supervisor. I used to be his second assistant. So since I was his second assistant, Bella always smelled good, and Bella was just straight up. So he introduced me to Curtis, one of his Muslim brothers. And I'm not Muslim, and hey, I'm not going to, if I was, I'd take credit for that. But I am a disciple of Jesus Christ, so I'm walking for God. So Curtis introduced me to Curtis. Curtis was a big guy, about 6'3", 6'4", 260 at that time. And, he done some time in jail. And Curtis, knew about the fragrance oil. And he introduced me to Egyptian musk, more Egyptian musk. I think it was Carolina Herrera, some other China musk, and some stuff. And he charged me a goddamn healthy fee for that small amount of fragrances. It is quite robbery. He robbed me. Let me let you know. He robbed me, and he knows he robbed me. So if he looking at this, he knew, and and that's the way it is, you know. But he introduced me to the game of fragrances. I sold a few bottles, but not enough to make my money back. And I tried to sell at the flea market where he was, and that means I was going up against him as well. So many of these young fellas at my age at that time did not like China Moss. They did not like Egyptian Moss. They wanted something cool. They like cool water, polo. They were looking for stuff like that. They weren't looking for something ancient or something that only a few people purchase. So at that, my first experience on the oils was a bummer. Now, later on, I ran into another oil vendor, and that's why I said you have to know in between who is the middleman, you know, because you can't be the middleman. You got to know the manufacturer. I'm sorry. Without the manufacturer, you fucking up in your business. You're not going to make as much money as you can make, and you will make if you don't get to know who is the manufacturer of your company, because it'll dry your company up. So I met this guy, and damn, what is his name? Well, anyway, he challenged. He was challenging also. So he sold me some fragrances. It was better than Curtis fragrances. But and you might need, as I get this mindset of who this person is who sold it to me, he sold me some oils, and he sold me a 5-gallon jug of lotion, right? I knew right then and there that men didn't have their own lotion. Men didn't have their own body wash, that men didn't have their own body mist, they didn't have nothing whatsoever. So I took hold to the opportunity. I didn't go up against Curtis on the oils because he pretty much had me. But I did go up against him with the lotion. So I came back to the flea market, set up a strategy at the business location. Now the business location costs more. It costs a few more dollars, like $21. And $21, okay, I said, if I sell 4 bottles, right, of lotion, I can I can become profitable at my 5th bottle. Because at that time I was selling for $5 each with enough oil in it so it could smell good for the men. So I had about 100 bottles at $5. So as soon as I did that, I became profitable. The end of that day, I was at $300 just selling lotion. And I was cracking the whip because I had to make my money back. Because I had 2 losses. I mean, I had a huge loss with Curtis, who was, you know, kind of like a bully guy, you know. Yeah, you bought a lotion. Yeah, man. Yeah, Kurt. You got me, homie. And I sold out. So once I sold out that lotion and sold a tremendous amount of it, I came back to, God darn what this dude now. I came back to him. He said, man, you kind of aggressive. You're aggressive sales. And yeah, I was making money hand over fist. Yeah, I was selling. I was knocking it down, player. It was going. I mean, I wasn't playing. There was no jokes around here. So I made more money in one day than I made my whole paycheck in a month. I mean, in a week. So I was cool. I was hooked because I got rid of this stuff, the junk stuff, and started selling mainly fragrances. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about that a little bit later on how I had to leave the other guy also. It was just tremendous. It was mostly jealous than camaraderie, teamwork. You know, he would have had me. So if you want to know if the flea market works, it can work. but you got to know a certain strategy. And in 15, if you like this video, right, please donate to the cause, the link down below, and like this video. We're looking for 1,500 more subscribers. Subscribe to the video. The flea market, and this is going to probably be one, or if this could be the only one. And if you like it, say something about it. Holler at your boy, because guess what? We're here to help you and thrive and get your business right, get your credit right, get your money right, make passive income, bypass the manufacturers, make this money in the fragrance game or whatever business you want to get into, and make this challenging, not so challenging to you. The flea market could be absolutely wonderful, but I'm gonna teach you more about the flea market on the next video. I just want to see how this video go to the flea market. So thank you for coming to the Just Smell So Good Nation. Go check out the BHO Innovations about the credit. It should be a link down below. Donate to over1660 at yahoo.com, PayPal, whatever amount you can afford to do. I would suggest $5. If you give $1, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They say dollars add up, but PayPal take 50% of that, so it'd be 50 cents. So $5. Let's start at $5. If you can afford $5, that'd be great. Make a comment, share this with all your friends and family, and welcome to the Just Smell So Good Nation, Flea Market Edition #1. Peace. Masculinity is alive. We are men up in here. Peace.